Lunchtime prayers in the small Punjab town of Rabwah. To the world, these men seem to be preparing to pray as countless Muslims have for centuries. But in Islamic Pakistan, the particular beliefs of the Ahmadiyya movement have been branded unacceptable. They're regarded as heretics, masquerading as Muslims. The problems stem from this man, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who founded the Ahmadiyya movement towards the end of the last century. His claim to bring new prophecy offends mainstream Muslims who hold that the Messiah promised by Muhammad is yet to come. The 10 million followers of the movement worldwide believe they've brought a renaissance to Islam, making it what they describe as pristine and pure. But in Pakistan, a country created for Islamic beliefs, defending the ideological borders of the faith has assumed great importance. The 4 million Ahmadis who live here are seen as infidels. According to retired justice and former head of the Islamic Ideology Council, they must be cast from the Islamic fold.
It is something extremely painful, I should say, not only for me, but for any reasonable person, to call a person who claims to be a Muslim and asserts to be a Muslim and to hold him a non-believer as someone outside the pale of Islam. It is something most painful and regrettable. And I have come to the definite and firm conclusion that they were outside the pale of Islam, and there is absolutely no doubt about it.
In the town of Rabwah, virtually all of whose residents are Ahmadis, there was great concern 2 years ago to learn that the martial law regime of President Zia-ul-Haq was to legislate to prohibit them from what the government called anti-Islamic activities. No longer were the townspeople of Rabwah and fellow believers elsewhere able to call themselves Muslim. They couldn't summon the faithful to prayer in the Muslim fashion or name their places of worship mosques. Ahmadis allege that some of their buildings have been defaced, inscriptions from the Quran obliterated with paint. 26 Ahmadis were arrested last month for wearing badges proclaiming their belief in the central tenets of Islam. In suburban South London, the present spiritual leader of the movement has found a heavily guarded place of exile. He fled Pakistan 2 years ago because of what he regards as the religious persecution of his followers.
Hundreds of Ahmadis have been punished, persecuted, prosecuted, dragged in the streets by the police, beaten up, just for the crime that they declared this kalima, that's fundamental article of Muslim faith, because they believed there is no God but one. They believed in the truth of the Holy Prophet of Islam. And this is a crime, prime crime in Pakistan, a crime for which they will not accept bail.
I'm very sorry if there have been some individual cases of some persecution. It would be something which is wholly indefensible, and any reasonable person would, instead of, say, condoning it, would rather condemn it, I being one of them. I wouldn't mind telling you that some of my very near relations, they belong to the Ahmadiyya sect. And I have every reason to believe that no case of persecution has been brought to my notice of this kind.
The Munir family believes one of its members has been persecuted for his religious beliefs. They discuss with their lawyer the death sentence passed on 32-year-old Ilyas Munir for the killing of 2 men when his place of worship was attacked. He maintains from behind bars that he's wrongly convicted, especially since the mosque caretaker has admitted firing in self-defense.
We were really very much upset that why this sentence has been given to such a man who has not been on the spot even, because we were thinking that justice will be done.
Amnesty International has drawn attention to the 4 Ahmadis now facing hanging in Pakistan, especially in view of doubts about the legal procedures of the Munir case.
Well, apart from our unconditional opposition to the death sentences, there is serious concern that there may be a possible miscarriage of justice because of the serious allegations that have been made about the partiality of the investigating authorities. It is simply the contention of Amnesty International that, in the first place, before this military court, we do not believe that the procedures employed have ensured that these prisoners have had a fair trial.
In Rabwah, the Ahmadiyyas have a college for missionaries with over 300 students from all over the world. Taught in Urdu and Arabic, these young men have dedicated their lives to spreading their beliefs. And it's this concern with converting other Muslims to the movement that may have contributed to the hostility of mainstream Muslims. Students like Tahir Selby from Wembley remain convinced of the rightness of their beliefs.
We like to think of what God thinks rather than what man thinks. And in our opinion, this is what God wants, how Islam should be practiced.
The Ahmadiyyas are a successful community, prominent in commerce, education and public service. Local merchants display the photograph of their founder with pride. The community insists on rigid purdah for its womenfolk, but maintains high standards of education, able to claim more than 3 times the average rate of literacy for Pakistan. Such achievements have done little to endear them to mainstream Muslims. Some maintain that the problems of the Ahmadiyyas are basically political, that President Zia-ul-Haq's government has sought popularity through religious orthodoxy.
General Zia-ul-Haq's regime has no raison d'être, no reason for being here. Absolutely no justification. So they have to seek reason for their existence. Why? So they took upon themselves to champion the cause of Islam. And because they could not champion the cause of Islam in any positive manner, because it's very difficult to champion the cause of any religion in positive values, so they took the downhill course of following the negative values of persecution in the name of religion.
Attacks on the Ahmadiyya community in Pakistan can be seen as a way of unifying all Muslims behind the authorities. In difficult political times and with increased sectarianism among the followers of Islam, the Ahmadiyya community provides a convenient target for attack. As the Muslim faithful gather to pray, members of the Ahmadiyya movement know they cannot expect this or any future government to change their legal position here as non-Muslims. All Pakistani politicians must come to terms with the influence of the mullahs if they want to achieve power. The Ahmadiyyas can only pray that their Muslim brothers will show a degree of compassion, that they will no longer face arrest and imprisonment for their religious beliefs. Graham Walker, ITN in Pakistan.